In this video, I'm going to go over some of the things I absolutely love and some of the things that I absolutely hate about this Toro HDX 4000 with MyRIDE. This is going to apply to the HDX 4000 with MyRIDE in below per se. The HDX Pro is going to be a little different because it has different transmissions, and I think it might have a little different feel. So I don't want to apply what I'm talking about here to that machine. This machine came out about 3 years ago, and there's a ton of great reviews out there on it that tell you a lot of things about it, but don't go into some of the bads. And I want to go into some of the things that I just can't get myself to make this purchase on, and might help you with some of your decisions, especially if you're just looking at these online. One of the first things that I absolutely love about this machine is the MyRIDE. And you can adjust the suspension up to make it stiffer, to make it softer, whatever you'd like. And the ride is absolutely amazing. When you watch the shocks work in the rear and you watch the shock work up front, you're really getting a lot of suspension, and it allows you to go really fast. This machine loves to go fast. But when I first brought this machine home, I was unable to use it at 6'3" because the handles would hit my knees when I went forward in the most upward position. I had to pay literally, they're almost $80 for extensions to bring this up so I could have it work above my knees. And I'll put a video out on how to install them, but now at this point in time, they're here, but they're a little bit, they feel tall because of the armrests. The armrests are a little bit lower. I feel like I'm up in the air a little bit. It's actually not horrible, but it just isn't perfect. Now, the way my legs go, they're in an upward direction here. If I sit on the HDX or any of the models without MyRIDE, I have more level legs as they go out, because it feels like this MyRIDE platform was just shoved into this 4000 series and it made it shorter. So for taller people, it's not as comfortable. I kind of feel, and I hate to say this, but I kind of feel like I'm on like a squatty potty where I'm sucked into this. If you are a little bit shorter than I am, you're going to feel amazing on this and won't need these extensions. If you're a little bit bigger guy, you might need the extensions and it may fit perfectly for you, but that is my first complaint. Love the suspension. Hate that it cramps me in a little bit and I don't feel as comfortable. The seat itself, absolutely amazing. Very comfortable, adjustable, comes with these very large padded armrests. They will move up and out of the way. There is a seat belt here if you'd like to put it on, and it seems like most things work great. The seatbelt won't go all the way in again, which is one of those things that I would complain about, is some of the build quality with this. But overall, this seat is amazing. Some of the things are pretty tight and hard to reach while you're on it. One of them is the seat adjustment that goes forward and back. It's just a small lever that doesn't come out far, and when you're sitting on here, if you know exactly where it's at, it's easy, but you kind of have to reach around your leg. Second is the parking brake. It is over here, and it flips forward to turn off and then pulls up. I actually don't mind it once I got used to it, but it's in a position that is a little bit more difficult to get to. Speaking of things that are in a bad position, right down here is the fuel tank gauge. You can see it's reading full, very tough to see. Something I really like is how you adjust your deck height. Although it's a long reach from up here for me, and being taller, I have to really get my foot back to lift the deck up. Once I do this, it just locks it into place, and then I can lift it up, push forward, drop the deck back down. This pedal brings me into a really tough position again. Again, I think if I was shorter, it wouldn't be bad, but being tall, I don't like how this is positioned, and changing the deck height is not horrible, but in some cases, when I'm moving around, it's a long reach. It would be better if it was in a different position. I understand it's not something that's used a whole lot, but for being a taller guy, especially if you were a little bit heavier guy, to reach down here and especially hit some of these items, it's just awkward. I think this machine is absolutely amazing. When you look at it, it's pretty, it's designed to sell. I think it's fairly heavy duty, but the attention to detail when it comes to the assembly at the Toro plant, I think is lacking. If you look right here, you can see the seat belt is rubbing up against the frame here. As the MyRIDE system goes up and down, we are just rubbing paint off on this side. And not a big deal, but when you're paying, this is a $14,000 MSRP mower, it'd be nice not to have that rub all the paint off the side. Second, again, at the Toro plant, when they put it together, they put the bolt on the ROPS in the wrong position. That should be up top, so you can move this pin around and adjust your ROPS to where you wanted. At this point in time, it's just wrong. I think Toro nailed it when they put a place for you to hold your phone and a large place for cups or anything, and also a smaller place for any other miscellaneous items. It is right next to you. It's not at your feet like the John Deere. It just makes sense. It's in a great place. I also like the large cap on the tank. It's easy to fill. It has a long cord so you can hold that away. There is a fairly large piece inside here that holds that cap, and that gets in the way slightly if you're putting in a nozzle off something, but you can push it out of the way, not a big deal. This is nice, easy to fill, and it works great. The fuel gauge is nowhere around here, so if you're filling it up and you have a can, you have to watch what's going on so you don't overfill it. Not that big of a deal. I love this setup that's around you. You do have two USBs here that are semi-waterproof covering. If you needed USBs, that'd be great. If you had to charge your phone or something, I get it, but not as needed as you think. I really enjoy the large, wide tires up front. That gives you a great ride, and it doesn't leave any divots or marks in the grass, especially if it's soft dirt. It seems to spread out the weight well. They're awesome. There's two anti-scalp wheels in the front and one on each side. They are adjustable up and down. There are no anti-scalp wheels in the back of the deck. I wish there was. I like the fact that we at least have quite a few up front. This is a 7-gauge deck. It's thick, beefy, and it has a great step to get on and off the mower, at least on this side. So you're not going to slip, because this is a nice powder coat here. If it was wet at all or gets grass on it, that could be a problem getting on and off, and you don't want to slip. This plastic cover simply pulls off. There are no grease zerks on this machine at all. Everything is a sealed bearing. That's great because it's going to last as long as it's going to last. And if you didn't grease the ones that needed grease, they're not going to last that long. Either way, they're not expensive to replace, and these aluminum spindles is something that Toro brags about. They're big and they're not overly expensive to replace as far as what I've seen, but they're going to last as long as they're going to last, because you really can't maintain them. There's not a lot of need to get underneath here, but with some of the MyRIDEs, you wouldn't be able to get into this area. This plate does come off, so you have access to get to your belt, check things out. If you needed to replace anything, you have the ability to get down here, which is better than not. The rear tires on this are called a Voodoo Track. They are 26 inches tall. I love that they're 26 inches tall. I think that gives you a better ride. You look at these and think they're going to tear up the lawn and give you amazing traction. They don't tear up the lawn. And in my opinion, they don't give you the traction that you would think, even though you have these ridges here that make them look like mud tires. There are many situations where a spineless tire in situations where the wheels feel like the normal, what I would call commercial turf tires. So while these look amazing, they definitely don't provide you the traction that you would think. When we take a look at the engine compartment on this machine, I absolutely love it. This is the Kawasaki FX1000 engine, 35 horse. It is amazing. Power is wonderful, but to me, it's ease of maintenance. You can check your oil right here. The oil filter is right below that. There's a hose that's right here, so you can change your oil. You don't have to get in here and drain it all over the frame. That's great. Battery is sitting over here, easy to access. It's not underneath the seat or anywhere where you have to get at it to throw a charger on it or replace it. If you're wondering what this guy is, it's a GPS tracker, because this is a demo unit, so it won't be on your normal machine. This area is just perfect. On the back of the frame, there are tabs that are tie downs, which is great to have if you're going to put this on a trailer and actually put straps around it. You also have a trailer hitch in the back, which is a 2-inch receiver. That too is going to be great if you're going to tow something small. I really like how they just rounded this back part out and made it easy to access for anyone to use anything that you'd like to, but also gave you protection and airflow to keep everything cool. 4000 series has the ZT 4400 transmissions, and what I feel is very important is a reservoir on top. So you can see how much oil is in the transmissions and also change the filters, add oil, do whatever you need to and service them very easy. Servicing these transmissions to me is very important. It should be to you also if you want something to last a very long time, and having this up here is awesome. This machine loves speed, and in fact, it just absolutely loves to rip around in the suspension seat combined with the transmissions. In this zero turns need for speed allows you to just fly and cut things quickly. I think that's one thing that I love about it. It loves to go fast. While you're going fast though, you don't always get that great of a cut. And if you compare this deck to some of the other decks on the market, and if you go up to the 5000 and 6000 series, they have a baffle kit that goes in here, and you can actually order the baffle kit that would go on this. And if you wanted a better cut, my dealer says that putting that baffle kit on here will help you cut more with the speed, because it's going to allow this to pull the grass upwards more, because you end up with flyaways or little stragglers in the grass because you lose some of the pull upwards, because this is all open up in front. You only have your baffles kind of in the rear. Again, heavy duty deck, 7 gauge. This thing is amazing. While these transmissions really like to go fast, the machine feels really heavy and not overly nimble while you're going slow, especially if you're going around fences and trying to push things around. There's something that makes this feel not as responsive while you're going at slow speeds. But if you look underneath, there is a lot of coverage and protection for these ZT 4400s, and you can easily see where you could hit something or come off the deck, whatever it is, it's going to give them protection, and there are holes in here to allow them to cool and to allow you to access the filters that are on each side. A great easy way of changing the belt. Lots of things happening here, and it's easy to get to. Here's an angle from the other side where you can see the upper belt that's going to drive both of your transmissions. It's just simple to work on, which I like. It doesn't have a lot of complex things up here, and again, all protected and easy to get to. You've heard me say a lot of negative things about this machine, but there are quite a few positives also. I love that you have this rubber mat that's basically your chute deflector. You could hit a tree with this, you can do whatever. I also like that it'll flip up and stay up if you're putting it on a trailer, in and out. It's just a great design the way they have it, so it's not plastic and in the way. This is great. On the right-hand side of the unit, you have another cup holder, which is awesome. You could keep a lot of water with you. Your hour meter, throttle that feels really good, choke that is easy to use, key, PTO switch, turn that on and off, and also the LED light that's on the front. Another huge positive of this, and what draws me to it, is a 5-year, 1,500-hour commercial warranty. But the warranty on this is absolutely spectacular and unmatched by just about anyone else that's out there. I think that is huge. There's a lot of things that really make me like this machine, but there are a few that make it so that I cannot physically buy this MyRIDE version. And the first is the seat being too tight, the fact that I have to raise the handlebars a little bit, and they still are slightly uncomfortable. I feel like maybe now, once I raise the handlebars, that the seat could come up an inch or two. It would help to level my legs out, and I could sit in the seat a little bit better without putting all the pressure like kind of on my back. That would make a little bit more sense. The HDX Pro model seems to fit me just perfect. So if you want to delete the MyRIDE, I can fit on that model a lot better. And the HDX Pro has the ZT 5400 transmissions, which might act a little bit different and be a little bit more torquey, where this one lacks the torque, in my opinion. Still very torquey, but just how it comes on. It gives me a feeling of a small block race car compared to a big block race car, where some places you get the torque right off the bat. In this case, you got a lot of horsepower, it's all there, and it wants to get up and go, but it gives you a little lag as you start to go. Tires on this aren't what I expected. I'm just kind of giving you an overview again. If I had my choice, I would go to a 26-inch tire that was more of a turf tire, landscaping tire. They seem to have a little bit more grip. They sure don't look as cool, but there you are. I mean, you look at this thing and it is absolutely stunning. I think this 4000 series and the 2000 series are built to just look amazing. You have an I-beam frame that goes across up front, which is very beefy looking, but also very sturdy. You have bearings that are in the front, which I think are great. Bearings everywhere in this, albeit sealed. I think they have this machine down. There's not a lot of plastic bushings. There's a lot of great quality in this. I just don't fit. You might not fit. Some things are in an awkward place. And what's weird to me is you could adjust this foot pedal back further. So I guess if you were a shorter person and was in here and this is too far forward, you could adjust it back so it fit you better. Odd, because they didn't think of the tall guy in this situation, because for me, it needs to come out even further forward. No matter how you look at this, prices are great in this right now. There's rebates out. I don't know how long they're gonna stay. That you can get this in the mid-12s at this point in time, which is good for a commercial mower, especially when you start comparing it to John Deere or some of the other models that are out there. They're right up in the same area, if not more expensive, especially when you look at a 35 horsepower motor. So there's a lot going on here. That's great. There are just a few things that can't take me over the edge of saying, this is where I'm going. If that helps you, great. Leave some comments below. I'm not trying to bag on this machine at all. I think it's an awesome machine. I just want to give you my experience with it, kind of help you supplement some other reviews that you might find there out on YouTube that are more all thumbs up. There's nothing bad about this. There's a few things. So comments below. Give us a like in this video. As always, thank you for your time. Have a great day.